Where my girls at?
Taking the spicy note, keep it locked in.
Where my girls at?
Keep on watching while the beat keep knocking.
Where my girls at?
You love the flow, it's the ladies show.
Where my girls at? Yeah. Where my girls?
Everybody please like, share, comment, and subscribe. Fat Joe has stated in multiple interviews and videos throughout late 2024 and 2025 that he is finished with signing or discovering new artists. His decision is based on a, quote, headache, experience with disloyalty, claiming the artists often become ungrateful and turn against the people who help them once they achieve success. So gurus, why have some creatives run off their management? And who do you think the onus is on, the manager or the creative?
I have a problem with a lot of these, want to say like people who found, like people who were in charge of, like you got Cam for Dipset, you got Fat Joe for Terror Squad, you got 50 for, his people, like you got like all these. Yeah, and there's a place where they were in charge of all of these people, but then let them go to the wayside once they got successful enough to separate from the people.
I heard something that Yayo said on 105.1 the other day, and Uncle Murder. 50's more hands-on with the people that he does sign, as opposed to other people that, all right, basically I'm gonna sign you, because who said Jay signed him? And he's appreciative. Uncle Murder said it. Jay, he was under Jay. Jay signed him and he was like, all right, do your thing, however you do it. But with 50, when he got with 50's more hands-on and more strategic on promo marketing, what to mess with, what not to mess with. It's really your independence that's really gonna push the music. It's really your independence that's really gonna push the music. It's really your independence that's really gonna push the music. You gotta do everything yourself.
For everybody that's listening, your manager works for you. You don't work for the management. Let's say you get signed to 50 Cent. 50 Cent does not become your manager. You have to get your own manager. In most cases, you can't be babysat from 50 Cent because 50 Cent did not sign you that way. 50 Cent signed you as an entity, as a business. So for all the artists that's out there, you are a business.
We already know there's a conflict of interest to be a manager and to be a production company, but that's what was going on back then. People was getting managed by their production company. My group is one of them groups that was getting managed by your production. Our manager was also the person who got the production deal. So he's getting 20% as a manager.
Me, shit, I don't got many heads. Like,
think about it.
And this is how the industry was set up back then when they decided to start giving distribution deals to independents as opposed to getting signed directly to the majors. When you got signed directly to a major, you do have a manager and you can come in with some of your own stuff. But when you're getting signed to one of these production companies that was getting their money distribution through whatever, they was in charge of whatever was going on.
But as far as today, Fat Joe saying he's not gonna sign no new artists today. Do you think it's because of the talent that is out here today, or like what do you think?
Partially.
It is? I think so too, a little. I think that only has something to do with it too.
Get over here!
Sha'Carri Richardson, an Olympic gold medalist and one of the world's fastest women on the track, was arrested Thursday in Florida and accused of driving over 100 miles an hour.
I would wipe that smile off your face. I'm Sergeant McDaniels with the Orange County Sheriff's Office. You're being stopped for dangerous excessive speeding.
I understand my tire at the back is like literally on 29.
So you're driving at 100, hold on. You're driving at 104 miles an hour in a 65 mile an hour zone with subpar equipment, flashing people to get out of your lights, out of your lane, following too close, using every lane to pass everybody, cutting me off, passing a car on the inside shoulder with their hazard lights on. You're going to jail for dangerous excessive speeding.
I'm so sorry. I did not mean to do that. My phone, I didn't even know my car was speeding.
That's why they give you a speedometer.
I totally understand. I communicate with you, sir. I really do not want to go to jail.
No, most people don't, but You got to think about that before you do the speed.
Sir,
I need your license, your registration, and your insurance. You were speeding.
So I was, and I totally didn't know. If you look at my phone, my buttons right here, they jump around. My phone is sitting here and it's slid on here. I literally see it's not even in normal mode, and I see that my account is
Richardson was released on a $500 bond on Thursday and has a court date of February 26th, the Orange County Corrections Department says. So, gurus, we are or we were supporters of Sha'Carri Richardson, but why can't she keep her Olympic self out of problems?
Why she can't keep herself out of problems?
Because if you recall, remember she got arrested before.
What's that basketball player's name that's always like in some shit?
You're talking about that young one.
Mm-hmm.
He got a cute name too.
He's cute too.
I know he is cute, but he's messy. I forgot his name because I don't do basketball, so I don't do sports, but I know the names.
But
He's the current basketball player?
Sha'Carri Richardson, didn't she just win a gold medal or she almost won? Anyway, long story short, she ain't supposed to be getting into problems every 5 minutes.
Sometimes people like the adrenaline in life.
They also young too, and I think what's going on, what we were saying earlier about A&Rs, I think what's missing in life because life is running so fast is that the life is running fast, but it's running faster than the maturity. Money and access, period. But they're not mature enough, right? So they're like children. It's like giving a toddler a whole bunch of candy and watching them eat it and then get sick and then stop and eat it again and get sick. Yes, when you talk about Ja Morant is what you're talking about. You're talking about a young person.
Yes.
Yes, a young person that got an incredible skill, but who is immature still and raised in a certain environment, and he carries that with him because that's who he is, right?
Who
And
does that
dude-
remind you of? Who's the big name that reminds you of?
Get over here.
Oh, it's not.
Tupac
It's not.
Shakur.
Oh, yeah.
Remember,
Yeah,
Tupac died broke. But remember, the man could rap. He was nasty. But he could not keep his personal life in control.
I wouldn't say keep his personal life in control because if you're in a public eye, you're in a public eye. You can't really keep your personal life under the wraps. Only with certain things.
Jay did. Jigga did.
Yeah, that's why he's in the Epstein files. No.
And that Ja Morant, it's like, but that's what it is. I think we run a risk. I was saying something earlier about this technology, right? And I'm always talking about the internet and how it's moving so fast. So again, the expectation to live a life is this big, but the brain maturity is this big.
And then not only that, when you think about it, young people, they like to speed race. They like that. You know what I mean? Like my kid too. My kid is
You're
19.
young.
And he's always talking about, yeah, Ma, you drive slow. I damn sure do drive slow.
Yeah, because I appreciate
I got PTSD and I'm not in a rush.
Because I got to pay for this.
But look the difference. You 19 years old and now you got a Lambo. You are driving it.
Yeah,
Like,
and
what am
that's
I
so
supposed to
crazy
do?
because why is my 19-year-old saving to buy one right now? I
Yeah.
kid you not. Or
Yeah,
really
but they
afford that. But
But that's what you got. You're young, dumb, and full of fun.
I almost said it.
Yes.
I almost said it.
Now, to make this even more ridiculous, is that the boyfriend that she got arrested that time for beating up in the airport or whatever, got arrested the same day she got arrested for jumping in while the police was trying to talk to her. He got arrested for interfering in that traffic spot.
So guess what? That's toxic.
But they said he didn't do anything. They said
That's
he
that-
really didn't.
That's
So-
that 26 Bonnie and Clyde toxicity.
But, you know,
That's that toxic love they was talking about. That's what it is.
Toxic.
As a podcast, we're saying no matter what part of entertainment you are in, you at a certain point will need, I ain't say you want, if what you're doing becomes successful, you are going to need to hire a manager.
When people don't get their way, or someone can't do what someone says, or can't provide something, right? Money, whatever it is that they expect from a manager. It's like, all right, since you can't do it for me, I'm gonna curse you out. I'm gonna treat you like this. And people do that generally in life, period. Hence why one of the reasons why I paused on my podcast too was for people, artists feeling like they didn't have to pay, or they were above certain thing because whatever. I'm not here to what do I call it? I'm not here to endorse nobody. I'm not sponsoring someone's career, right?
Talk about it.
I have to
Talk
pay
about it.
I have to pay for editing. I gotta pay for studio for you guys that feel like you don't have to pay, and then the shit is boring because you have no charisma. You're boring to even talk to. I've had that so many times.
It sounds like a lot of artists or creatives need life coaches. And what happens is that your manager is not your life coach. He is somebody, or she is somebody that you have hired.
Get over here.
If you're having a crash out, that's not your manager's business. Please don't take your manager through that crash out.
Yeah, they're gonna drop you because you're not a reliable artist or person for them to, spend money on. However, like, I'm just going back to the topic about Fat Joe, and he said he's not going to sign or discover any more people or whatever the case is. But and then Jay Perez was also talking about 50 Cent. I also watched an interview where I think it was 50 Cent, and he was talking about how, like, the record company wanted him to put out three albums before any of his team was put on or got their own type of album. And he really pushed against that. And he's like, that's why I had an album. And then Lloyd Banks was able to get one. And then Tony Ayo was able to get one because I pushed for that. And sometimes, like, when you put someone on or you want to be their mentor or whatever the case, they're expecting you to write out for them and go hard for them. And sometimes that's not what it is. People think by just, saying, hey, I'm Fat Joe, look at this guy, like, take a listen to him, that's going to do something. And it's not. And then sometimes they get upset and they start doing things on their own or making their own, network connections. And then they go on their own. And I think that's what he was talking about with, like, loyalty or loyalty issues. But, like, when you put yourself in that position, you can't tell someone, oh yeah, I'm going to help you, I'm going to put you on, and then just be like, here you go.
The structure of a record company was way different. You had A&R that's sitting here helping artists that are actually training artists to be the artist that you're supposed to be. So artists had, like, these record companies had divisions, and those people went to school for the things that they did. And when you went to meetings, you sat down with a meeting in a boardroom with a bunch of people who went to school that was like, okay, well, the data in these markets say this. This is your biggest market. This is things that people don't like.
And we're going to do this. Right.
And for A&R, you sat there with a person, taught you how to walk, taught you how to talk, taught you how to dance, conversation. This.
I just have a question. No. Explain to these artists what an A&R does and what it stands for. No, I'm serious. Break it down. Because people are like, oh, an A&R from Rockefeller is going to be there. I'm going to this showcase. What is the A&R doing for you, Cigar?
So A&R stands for artist and repertoire, right? Mm-hmm. And that's what originally what it stands for. And so an A&R traditionally, because I'm gonna go back to what old school A&Rs, because some of these new school A&Rs, I don't know what they're doing, right? So A&Rs, some A&R, it's a broad description. We're responsible for finding talent, right? Searching and scoping out talent, which, in different places, people, it's like finding somebody that's singing in a cafe, somebody singing on the street, somebody, whatever, right? So that's one part. That's one part of an A&R's job could be to find talent. Another part of an A&R's job, it will be to work with talent that is signed or potentially going to be signed to help them in all the ways to be a professional artist, an artist that's able to do what it needs to do in the public so that the records can sell. So that would have to be with if you're artist that dances, right, then you have choreography, and that A&R is helping you in setting up the choreography. And then there's another part about artists in being able to do what we're doing here, public speaking in a way that represents us well and the person who signed us and the money well, right? So the A&R is supposed to help the artist with their body of work, to help that artist be as professional as possible to represent their brand.
Before we go further, two things, gurus. Based on recent reports, January 2026, actor and comedian Anthony Anderson has confirmed he is in a romantic relationship with television personality Racsi Diaz. After months of speculation and a long-term friendship, Anderson referred to Diaz as "my lady" during an appearance on The View. And also, and your girl Nicki Minaj is still at it, out here embarrassing herself. And can somebody tell her to please stop?
Disgusting. I would just say disgusting.
What's disgusting? Because I like Roxy. What's disgusting?
What's disgusting is that her long-term boyfriend before that she just broke up with is Joe Thomas. I want to know what turns you. Okay, that was
I didn't even know that.
You went with him?
Exactly. Yes. What? They had Thanksgiving together, and the whole
Roxy
thing
and Joe?
Yes, she been with Joe for a midnight. So how
What?
you just start that off like this and then hit it like what? Can we get like a little space in between it, or do we just going for the gusto?
What?
I mean, but I'm not one to judge. People go from one relationship to another all the damn time. You know what I'm saying?
But we
So
trying
what
to be
took
like
us to Elmo is
Anthony Anderson for me, right? He's a funny guy, and this okay,
he's
but
the chunky one, right?
he's not chunky anymore after the Ozempic.
Wait, how old is Roxy?
Yo, she's
I
like
don't
my age.
Well, Anthony Anderson is 55 years old.
Exactly. It's
I'm
just
not
like she
that.
just going. Look, it's just like for me, I feel like you just bouncing around, and sometimes it's like the bounce around just be a bounce around.
To me, I don't know. I like her.
I love Roxy.
I think
I like
Yo,
Roxy, but I'm just trying to find out really. Like in this world that they live in right now, these spaces where people. And it's people want to do what they want to do, but then when they understand that thing is not working, because what they're doing is hopping around from person to person. There's a
but that's
place
what people do, though. Echo.
I
People
know,
hop
and then they
around
wonder
and they cheat
why.
a lot.
And then, but then there's also a place
A lot.
I don't believe that people are taking enough time to get to know themselves. I feel like they just jumping through people.
Get that, but that's also like saying, "Oh, you sleeping with a guy the first day, he's never gonna last." That's a BS
Oh
because
no, that's not true. That's
I
not true.
jumped on bones and kept the bones.
I like her. I don't have a problem with her. So, you know, that's her personal life though. So if that's what makes her happy, that's what makes her happy. I don't.
Do you think it was a convenience for her rather than something that she sought after?
Well, a convenience how? What is she gaining out of that?
Right.
Not like a lister top.
Yeah, he's not an A-lister for sure.
So like what is she gaining out of that?
It's gonna keep her face in the place because she ain't doing nothing else.
That's because she's untapped talent. I think Roxy Diaz is one of the, if they look at her the right way, she can really, really do a lot of things.
Yeah, she could take both.
I don't see the way people love Roxy, why she don't have her own talk show, her own.
Well, she did. She had her own talk show with Deion Sanders.
And she was just on Ridiculousness. I just seen her the other day.
Because I know she was with Joe for a period. She was him and her.
I
And Joe
didn't
was
even know
together
she
for a
was with Joe. That's crazy.
Yeah, I didn't know that neither.
I used to like his music, but I never thought he was like yummy.
Like, yeah, I don't think he's yummy. He look better now though. Now that he put a beard on, like
I used to like Devontae and Dalvin for Jodeci.
Yeah, Dalvin did.
That's what I used to like light skinned guys.
Yeah, Devontae doing something. Dalvin's doing something different. He's looking like grungy, like me. I don't know what, but Devontae every once in a while. But you know, I used to love some Devontae too. I used to like Ronnie from New Edition.
Yo, man. I used to really like light skinned guys, like so bad. Not like dark skinned guys, but you know, I don't discriminate though. Like
equal opportunity.
We reached a point in our show called your Q&A with the Lady Guru Show. And if you have a question you would like answered on the show, keep DMing your questions to our active page and we will try to get you a response. All right. You guys, you ready, ladies?
Yes.
Yes.
Here we go. I work from 9 to 5 every day. I've been working the same job for 19 years. However, every day since I got my job, I noticed how unfair workers are treated by the managers. Every day, it's some sort of mistreatment in the workplace that really makes me more than uncomfortable. As a person that knows how to move in a room, I haven't been forced in a way, but even though I know how to move, it bothers me that people are so angry and that they find it so hard to treat people fair. I've been at my job too long to leave, but how do you ladies think I should view my job to cope better moving forward? Thank you.
Char, integrity matters. That's what my company always say, integrity matters, and it does, because nobody should be making anybody feel less than at all. And like I told these directors, because I got somebody in trouble, and this is, I hope they're not listening to this because I get in trouble at work, but now let me say, I had a director talk to me crazy once. I got him in trouble with the senior VP. Don't play with me, sir. Because I'm not your mother, your daughter, your sister, your girl. I'm not nothing to you. But his email was so nasty, and I felt it, like in my chest. Like, oh, he really want to fight. I said, you know what? We gonna fight. I've been at my company 14 years. You know what I'm saying? And this is the first time ever that upper management spoke to me with disgust. Like, it was really nasty. And it was repetitive. So after a while, I'm like, yeah, nah, we're not doing this. Because I don't come to work to be abused by you. I'm sorry,
But
I don't.
you gotta stand on business. And it's like, I was a part of a situation that I had to stand on business. And it wasn't that anybody was talking to me specifically, but I was watching, I can't, at the place that I'm in right now, and like on the growth journey, I cannot sit in situations where people around me are being mistreated and be okay with it. It doesn't sit right with my spirit. Right. And I think that any situation that I'm in and that I'm around, if I feel my nervous system, my body doing something, I'm feeling a physical reaction, it's not a place that I need to be.
Right.
And so in a situation like what we just heard about the worker, you already put, I think, when you put your pieces down on the table, I've been at this job too long to leave it. That's something that's stuck. So that's not an option, right? So once you put your pieces down and you glue your pieces down, I don't know what to do. This. I think one of the biggest things that we can do is to realize if we're going to stay in a situation that we know makes us feel away, then we have to like release ourselves of the responsibility of what's happening because we're not creating what's happening.
Don't feel like you stuck anywhere because you've been there 19 years.
Yeah, exactly.
Please don't. Because nowadays, you people are giving max 5 years to companies and switching over to something else. The world is too different. Because I felt like that too. Oh, I've been here. I don't want to start all over again. So much. Nah, you know what? No, don't ever feel stuck.
Yeah. And I think another thing too is there's a place where we have, I don't know how many lives we have, but you have the life that you were born into. And in that life, sometimes you have another hat, right? Of being a child. Then you have an individual that you're a child of someone. Sometimes you're a sibling of somebody. These are all different hats that we wear in a life. And then people think that when we retire, that's our second life. Really? No, you have way more lives than that. And so you've been at your job here. Think about something else that you want to do that you find but that is a transition process that you're creating for yourself. You're creating an out for yourself. You can get yourself out of that situation by finding other positions and other places or other things that make you happy, not abruptly, but take time to find it so you can smoothly move through it and really secure or lock in something that you really, really want to.
As Jay said, don't think that because you're somewhere for 10 plus years that you're stuck. And also, if you don't say something about it, you're tolerating it. So you would, in order for them to stop, you need to say something. And sometimes, okay, there may just be a coworker, but would you want someone treating your sibling that way, your parent that way, your child that way? So you have to, unfortunately, be the first person to put your foot down and say something. That's the only way. Change only happens when you say something or do something. You need to take action.
Absolutely.
And that's the only way you're going to be able to lay your head down and be like, okay, I don't have a problem working here. Because eventually, the more you complain, the more it's eventually going to stop. Because
Yep.
like, oh no, I can't do this. I can't say that around Amanda. She's going to complain again. I can't say this around Amanda. She's going to do blah 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 blah. So you have to start. You have to say something, and you have to start.
Gurus, we had a situation where the Melania Trump movie, it basically what happened is I think it was Amazon or whoever invested near $75 million into this movie. And come to find out that in the first weekend it only sold $7 million. So it feels like we're in the era of big businesses, corporations, and small are throwing money at places and just getting no results whatsoever. What's going on here?
Well, I mean, I don't want to say that they're gonna get no results because I think Trump is gonna look out for them. If they get locked up, he'll probably give them a pardon for just putting his wife's movie out there. I don't know. Nah, but that's crazy. Like in real life, like that's crazy. I would have never invested.
$75 million promotion and all
And,
of that.
and it's like, do you really think she's worth that?
But they were trying to buy favor. And at the end of the day, I forget one of the African nations banned that was going to show it and then banned it in the whole area.
Yeah.
What are we doing? Like, we're pandering now. So we live in a world where people pander. They know that in order to get A, B, C, and D, what they have is you could just easily let's just put $75 million in this. It's a great thing to do. Like, what happened at this board meeting that this was even suggested?
Coming from corporations, right? They used to do whatever for profit. Intelligent profit, right? Now you could argue what intelligent profit is, but now it's to the point where they're doing stuff for favors. It's not even about profit no more. It's just about favors or hoping that they can get a favor.
Yeah, the changing of morality of the world that we live in, right? What those people find important. Like, it used to be a time that productivity in the workplace was important, and productivity was more important than the human being. Now we have this shift where the human being is more important than the productivity. So you have people who are employed by companies, but feel that they have the ability to tell the company what to do. So you live in a world right now where, where these types of things are happening, where it is that this shift has occurred.
Pharrell Williams is in a 2026 legal dispute with his longtime Neptunes production partner, Chad Hugo, over ownership and control of the Neptunes brand name, royalty payments, and financial transparency. Also, by the way, since we're on this guy, Pharrell, he is also being accused of stealing Khaleesi's song, the hit song that she had, stealing her publishing, and Khaleesi got nothing for that work.
I feel like there's probably more that we don't know about. Because look how many years it's been, and now it's like coming to the fore. Somebody got upset somewhere along the lines with something. And now it's like, okay, well, now I'm going to do this. You know what I'm saying? That happens a lot. That's old music. It's been like already over 20-something years. You're coming out 20-something years later to try to get some money. No, I would have went for it when it was owed to me.
We just had a conversation. Did we have a conversation? But anyway, I think it was somewhere. People find it so hard to treat people fairly unless they're being supervised by other people to treat people fairly. If a person has made a song, if there wasn't no split sheets involved, what in the world is, you do not have to steal to be I'm not saying that the man stole. But what I am saying is that in this business, there's way too much money to go. You don't have to try to steal somebody's work, because I always said if somebody will steal something small from you, they will steal something big from you as well.
But I think all this goes to what we were. Some of the stuff is tied to what we were talking about way earlier, about people who are groups or people who, like they were a group. Okay, NERD, one of my favorite albums, right? And it was three of them at the time, but one of my favorite albums. And they worked as the Neptunes, producing songs for SWV, producing songs for lots of people, for Total, for SWV, for people the groups that people didn't know before the Khalees thing. So they were coming out of Virginia, Pharrell coming out of Virginia under Teddy Riley and working with that camp and then doing his own thing and coming through, right? It's the same thing that we're looking at with Jay-Z and Dame, right? With Rockefeller, right? Why can't we split it, right? We started together. Why can't we just split it? Why can't things just be this place that we split it? And what it is that Pharrell wants to keep the Neptunes name, but without Chad, and they were the Neptunes together.
But who started the Neptunes?
They are the Neptunes
They
together.
probably
Right, I know
both
that they're
started.
together, but who started it?
They started
They
it.
probably both started
They
it.
two producers that call
Yeah,
themselves
I
like
know they're two producers, but someone has to come up with the idea. Was it one or was it both or was it the
they
other?
both worked on. I don't know, but they both worked on the work.
That's
they
why
were a
I'm like,
group.
there's probably more that we don't know that's not really being put out there. That's probably more in depth.
But I feel like if it's $1 million and all the money that you got, or for all the stuff for the whole, get a person $1 million. And this whole thing with Khalees, that was the thing too that we were talking about earlier. This was that was her production and her manager. She was signed to a production deal.
She signed something, and if these people didn't get paid for this amount of time, they signed that to be okay. Maybe there was something in between the lines that made them be like, now, 20-some years later, you know what? I'm owed this. Let me go get that money.
Like I sang on the Lost Boys summertime song. You will hear my name is not attached to that. They just
I know a few people that came up with hooks and everything else for certain people and wasn't paid a dime for it.
But they probably agreed to it back then.
Back then, you couldn't even say it, or you gonna get blackballed and you ain't working on nothing. And you would find out about it afterwards. That was contracted work I did with someone. I got called, hey, this is, you think you're gonna be protected, the song come out, you're not on it. Who you suing? I would pay somebody $1 million to not see your ass again. How about that?
Right, because $1 million shouldn't even be nothing. Like,
if you feel that I owe you $1 million based on all the work we did here, you know what I'm saying? Here.
That's like me having $1,000 and you say, "Oh, you owe me 10. Take the $10.
Hey, gurus, Kanye says his recent apology to Black and Jewish communities was not a PR move. This is because these remorseful feelings were so heavy on my heart and weighing on my spirit. So long story short, Kanye asked for forgiveness. Amanda, do you forgive Kanye for his bullshit?
Yeah, I know.
She's like, he didn't do nothing to me.
Jay Perez, do you forgive Kanye for his bullshit?
Yeah, I don't think I ever felt the way about his bullshit, to be honest with you.
Echo, do you forgive Kanye for his bullshit?
I forgive Kanye for being able to admit as a human being that we're all growing and that we make mistakes. And, I think that if you can do anything in this world, what we really want people to do is to own their shit. Own your bullshit.
So if you will forgive Kanye, then you should be
Don't do it.
able. Then you should
Don't
be
do it.
able to forgive Nicki Minaj.
For what? Wait, for what? Wait.
No.
Whoa. For what? For what?
For being a participant in Trump's America.
You'd have to be able to ask for forgiveness. I didn't hear no ask for forgiveness.
I'm just gonna say this. There is no forgiveness when it comes to Nick. There isn't. She's been a little bit belligerent. She may have her reasons for it, right? But us on the outside looking in, we looking at you like, nah, what the is going on? Like, really, what's going on? Am I surprised that she is doing this whole Trump thing? Yes and no, because she's strategic. Whatever she got in her head of being friends with him, there's a reason behind it. That's everybody, because people are afraid of that man, right? Cardi's not one of them, and I'm a big Cardi fan.
She had to put that out there, right?
Yeah, because I'm not either.
Cardi.
Because I'm not a Trump fan at all. But and then let's take Nikki out. You know how many people I know voted for him? I'd be like, what? You? Yeah, regular people from the hood. You know why they voted for him? Because they thought they were getting another stimulus check. So because he gave stimulus checks, people were like, yeah, Trump, he's the best. No, because now y'all really see the piece of he is.
I just want to add this in here because it's very, very important. It's so important that it was strategic for this particular moment as well. Most people that use Instagram do not know what the civil rights movement meant to them and what it meant to not just them, but for every other person in not just America, but the world. And so it's also strategic that it's not being learned about in school. So this way you can move in a fashion that does not align with history. So all of these young folks that are so quick to move off of principle or to move off of pain or to move off of blood, they are quickly to move because they don't know and they haven't learned not just about the civil rights movement, but about history in of itself. I'm not saying that, if you knew about the civil rights movement or if you knew about history, that you would automatically not forgive these people. I'm not saying that. But what I am saying is that if you knew about history and you knew about the civil rights movement, you would understand what's going on in more detail instead of just putting it in the comments.
Yeah, a lot of people lack knowledge. A lot of people lack common sense. And then you got people that troll just because they just want to troll. They don't have nothing else better to do. But yeah, a lot of, especially, the younger generation, they're not all of them, but like most of them, they're not into what happened years ago. They don't care about the history. They don't care about what wars and what we had to go through, or not even just us, but like our ancestors had to go through.
To a certain extent, if any person of color expects the educational system in the United States to tell you who you are and teach you who you are when it's not to their benefit, it's not, you're placing your hope in the wrong places.
Mm-hmm.
That stuff, when we used to, and during the civil rights and right after, and with the effects of it, fine, someplace, and you have to really start paying attention to the fact that a lot of the cultural things got disjointed every time a system integrated drugs into your neighborhood. Started with the heroin, People had a this, and that kind of pride about themselves in heroin. You try to pack something up, then you got crack. You try to do something else, then you got something else. All of these things, when a group was trying to elevate, got brought down by drugs in your neighborhood, and this, to the point that we sit and we complain that Hasidic Jews have so much control, but we don't want to emulate what they do. They make sure that the youngest one is going to know about the pain of the oldest one, and they're going
That's
to
a
teach you
fact.
every day. You're going to learn
Yo,
it. You're
I
going to
live
find
in Brooklyn.
a baby that's going to talk to you about the Holocaust like they saw it, like
Yes,
it just happened yesterday.
faithfully. I live in
We don't
Brooklyn.
do that. We're too
I've
busy trying to hide
never.
it though. We're trying to hide it. I had a whole human being that I know that I'm a little bit older than that told me he don't understand why his son got to learn about slavery. He don't understand why his son should have to watch those movies because they too painful. So he not supposed to find out the heritage? Like what? You're saying, well, but that wasn't his life. It's too painful. He don't have to learn about slavery. What are you talking about? And that's why we don't have any cohesiveness. Like lots of us want to get together, but most of us is like it really like water and oil. You can shake together, but wait 2 seconds, it's back over here because it really doesn't mix because of what's been done and what keeps getting done on a regular basis to make sure that oil stays oil and water stays water.
I do live in Brooklyn, and I've never been around so many in my life until now. And they are very well tight.
Okay.
They have concerts in the park. They be lit. I'm like, yo, what the hell? Like they have their own everything, and they own my building.
But that's how you do
My
it.
high-rise building I live in, they own it.
You want to emulate power, and what we see is people of color emulating the worst parts of the power group, right? Not the good parts of the power group. They don't really want to do what the power group is doing, reading a damn book.
People of color. You know, one of the biggest things and the biggest thing that has ever come across the whole world is hip hop. It
Absolutely.
is the biggest
Influence.
movement ever that has ever spread across the whole world. And I never understood why some people of color have criticized it. Like, yo, don't you realize that this thing is, it is like way past the United States. It's and it started here. Like, yo, this is something that we should be proud of, man. It's something that we should ride out.
But we don't teach the culture, like I was saying earlier. So nobody believes that that's part of our culture. That's us. Like that started here in the United States from enslaved peoples, period. This is where it started, right here in the Bronx, in New York, in the Bronx, right? I don't want to talk too much on it, but I had a conversation with one of my mother's friends who was actually Drake Colley, who's actually a flautist. And I was doing my thesis to school, and I was talking about hip hop and how it started. And he was talking to me about how the electronic part of it started when they started removing music from schools. They started going into those areas and removing the instruments that we were learning. And what happened was that people just shifted over to taking your radio to still make your beat. How can I still make this beat? They gave us a challenge, people of color a challenge like they always do. And what do? We take it, we boil it up in a bowl, and we give it back to you, and it's mac and cheese, and we give it back to you, and it's collard greens with like neck bones and stuff in it. It was garbage, right? You tried to hate, and you tried to stop it, and every time you give us something, we take it and give it back. And the thing that makes hip hop so special compared to other forms of music coming out of people of color and stuff like that is that it's the improvisation of it. Classical, you have to play it how it is every year. It's a dead kind of form because you're still playing Vivaldi, right? How many years ago was that? You're still playing Beethoven, and you have to play it just like that because if you don't, classical, you're wrong. Black music deals with and Latino music of color uses improvisation. What I feel right now. So it starts like this, but my feeling changes it and changes it and changes it. And, and their music stays static. So that's why hip hop is going to be here forever.
This thing started in New York, started in the Bronx. And there's so much pride in that. Like, I know people in the Bronx, man, they be standing up hard, heavy. You know what I'm saying? Because like, one of the things that I noticed, like, you particularly you go to Brooklyn and you go to the Bronx. Those two areas really, really have a lot of pride in that whole thing.
Yep.
What are you? I mean, not that the whole New York doesn't, not that the whole United States doesn't, not that other places don't. I'm not trying to say that. But what I am saying is that particularly when they look up and they see streets named after hip hop legends, it really instills like a lot of pride in what, and even if they didn't know about it, they gonna learn about it because they see it on the street blocks and they see it and they're like, wow, this thing is bigger. This thing was here before I was born. Like, this thing is whatever it was. It's some ish. Like, I was raised like when like one of the first things that I did when I went to Five Towns College, right? And when I went there, when I was coming down the
What
hall,
the hell is Five Towns College? Far Rockaway?
no,
do
no,
music.
Five Towns.
No, it's in
Well,
Five
they
Towns.
they made two of them since a long time ago.
Isn't Five Towns like right there by Far Rockaway?
Yeah, well, no, it's the
Long
name of a
Island.
college.
That's Long Island? Yo.
So it started in Long Island, right?
Uh-huh.
Five Towns College was started in Long Island, right? And it moved, well, it's still there in Long Island, but it moved also, I think, somewhere to the city as well.
They have a
I've
campus,
never
city
heard of Five
campus.
Towns College till just now.
But the
Engineering
thing
and
about
music.
it
My sister wanted to go there.
was Five Towns College was mainly a jazz school.
Like
where
engineering, right?
engineering,
Engineering.
yeah, engineering was supposed to be like the major part of it.
Mm-hmm.
When I came to that school, the musicians were like, they was heavy. Like, you couldn't go nowhere without the musicians playing jazz in the hallway. It was a whole culture. And it was so dope. Like, and I remember it. And so my point is that I forgot my whole point. But anyway, my point is that it's a major part of my life. It was very, very instrumental for me. Like, I knew people that girls that was in the choir, because they had this choir class, and like everybody there was nice. Everybody and everybody there took it as for granted that everybody was nice. So everybody in that school that was a musician was like playing all these notes. Like, you would walk down the hall and you would hear all type of notes you ain't never heard before.
Anybody got little toddlers? Anybody got toddlers?
No.
Gracie's Corner is a great
I love Gracie.
is a great thing because that's a hip hop base and it teaches the kids. And there's like I love Gracie's Corner. You got people in Africa dancing to these American hip hop songs and then creating their own hip hop songs. Same thing with the UK. Even though we learn certain things from hip hop from the UK, like this drill shit that I don't think anybody's on, but drill came from the UK.
Look at China. Oh,
another one in
God.
Japan too.
Yeah.
You got this K-pop stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, and K-pop is nothing but it's the Jacksons. It's the Jackson 5 and the Silvers, and on all of it. But I just think that I would really love if, as a people of color, we stood up for what belongs to us. Because I think the fact that we don't believe that we have a lot of shared culture amongst ourselves, that's the point of having no identity. And when you don't feel like so many generations of us have been going through this moment of having no shared identity. But we do, right? Cultural. Our culture involves music, everything that hip hop is. The music, the clothing, right? The art, the music, the clothing, and the art, and the dancing. It's 4 elements, right? In all communities of culture, there's still these 4 elements: the dress, the music, right? Your food, your things that make you you. And where it is we have Latinos and where we have what we used to call African Americans? How much of that is overlapped, right? Right? How many Latinos have a black mom? How many black, like we have all this overlap and all this thing, and we all started from one thing anyway. Where is it that we don't come together on what we have more in common than what we have separate?
Well, that's because in America they teach us to be separate. So everything is
Exactly.
always going to be separate. Oh, you don't
But I
look like
feel
me,
like,
so you this, so all the.
but I feel like
I'm
we
a
gotta
Puerto
do
Rican.
more.
I'm Puerto Rican, and I'm pale. I'm whiter than white people, and I look like I'm a white girl, but I am fucking Puerto Rican. But America teaches us to be separate, and we're all still one people. We're all still one culture. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
That's what I'm saying. But I think it takes. It sounds crappy, but I think it takes conversations like these. I think more conversations need to be had by more people, and that's how
Yes.
you get the common thinkers to come. Because if the common thinkers are like spread around like chocolate chips and ice cream, then we're not together enough to make the change. We're here, but we're not in sync with one another, and the system wants that to happen too, right? Put so much
Mhm.
space in between us that the ones who think collectively are not. So you have a hive mindset that's so anti, but the rest of us, right, that are trying to work it out, can't touch each other.
All right, everybody. Debbie isn't here. So I'm gonna do the LGS news thing.
Are you gonna change your voice?
I should, but oh, no, not like that. But you know, I'm gonna put on my journalist type of voice. Um, all right, everybody. In case you've been busy or you just don't know what the hell is going on, this is the Lady Guru Show news for you. Mangiano no longer faces death penalty in federal case. U.S. judge on Friday dismissed murder and weapons charges against the accused killer for United Healthcare CEO Brian Thomas in a major blow to federal prosecutors. U.S. District Judge Margaret Garnett in Manhattan said she felt constrained by Supreme Court precedents to dismiss the murder charge, calling it legally incompatible with the two federal stalking charges Mangino still faces. Mangino still faces murder charges in a separate case brought by state prosecutors. Federal murder statutes carry different legal requirements than comparable state laws, and Garnett said federal law required Mangino's murder and weapons charges to be tied to another crime of violence. In other news, Black China admits to leading people to destruction with OnlyFans. Black China is taking accountability for her former modeling endeavors, calling the decision not godly. Quote, not godly. The mom of two shared that seeing others praise her success as a OF model made her grapple with the moral burden of decisions. She said, quote, it's just really took me being truthful to myself. With the lifestyle that I was living, the things that I was doing, how I affected people in a positive way or a negative way, like influence and all of that, she said. She said, quote, I had to take a step back and think about, for example, if I'm doing OnlyFans and people are seeing that I'm making so much money, that's going to influence them to want to go and do OnlyFans, White said. Regrettably, the backlash of that is God. That's not a good thing. That's not godly. So when I'm being judged, I have to speak up and take accountability for me leading people to destruction, unquote.
So she's taking accountability. She got morals now, you know, which that happens when you get older. You don't want to do the ratchet shit because when you're young, you just don't care, right? So I think now that she's older, all right, I got a daughter, I have a son. I don't want them to look at me like that, you know, like, because again, I'm a boy mom and I like to be free and maybe I could be a little ignorant. I could be Cardi B-ish. I be twerking thing. My son does not like that. And I remember when he was 12, I was at a Sweet 16 bus party. I was twerking. The kids had me on Snapchat. He was pissed off. I mean, like pissed. He didn't speak to me and I felt so bad. But I had to be like, there, you know what? I gotta grow up and like be a mom and have like a little bit more integrity for myself. Cause I'm not these young people. But that happens again with growth. You take that
Yeah.
accountability and see because you don't want your kids to look at you like that. You know, you have to be a role model for your kids.
That was the In Case You Were Busy or Just Don't Know What the Hell Is Going On, Lady Guru Show news for you. Debbie, where the hell are you at? You know what I'm saying? For everybody else out there, you know what I'm saying? It's been a good show. You know what I'm saying? For everybody out there, please like, share, comment, and subscribe. Hey, Gurus, this is the Lady Guru Show. And we are out of here.
Where my girls